Welcome everyone. We'll continue with the lesson that here we have finished in the previous classes pollination. We have that is in the different events of sexual reproduction. We have finished gametogenesis, gamete formation. Then we have gone to this gamete transfer. Okay, that gamete transfer is transfer of gametes, that is male gametes from male gametes. Transfer of gametes. After the gametes are formed, male and female gametes are formed. Here the gametes, the male gamete will be transferred to female gamete. Both male gamete and female gamete, both of the gametes are stationary. They cannot move by themselves. Okay, so here there should be something which will transfer this unstationary male gamete to stationary female gamete. When the male gamete is transferred to female gamete, then only fertilization will take place. So this gamete transfer, the transfer of male gamete to female gamete is called as pollination. It is called as pollination. In the previous class we have discussed the different types of pollination, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination, that is transfer of pollen grains within the same flower or within the flower of the same plant, from one flower to another flower of the same plant, that is self-pollination. And in cross-pollination, that is anthers of, that is pollen grains of one plant will travel to the stigma of the another plant, that is cross-pollination or xenogamy. So here who will be, that is pollination is nothing but transfer of gametes, male gametes to female gamete. Transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma, that is called as pollination. But that is pollen grains are stationary. How they will be transferred? How they will be transferred? Pollination is that is transfer of anthers to, that is transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma. But how are these pollen grains transferred? How are these pollen grains transferred? There are certain agencies and there are certain agents which will be helping in this transfer of pollen grain from anthers to stigma. There are some agents which facilitates this transfer. That is transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma. So let us today study about those agents which will be helping in the process of transfer. Let us study about the agents which will be helping in the pollination. So the agents which helps in pollination, that is the pollinating agents. Those are called as pollinating agents. So here agents of pollination, that is the ones who will be helping in the pollination, that is the agents which will be helping in the transfer of male gametes from anthers to stigma of the flower. So what are those agents? We classify those agents into two categories. We classify the agents which will be helping in the transfer of male gametes to the female gamete. Those agents are of two types, that is biotic agent and abiotic agent. Biotic agents and abiotic agents. Abiotic, non-living things. Biotic means life, that is the organisms which have life which help in this transfer. So here in biotic agents, living organisms helps in the transfer of anthers, the help in the transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma. Whereas in abiotic agents of pollination, these agents, they are non-living things. These non-living things helps in the transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma. So the agents, non-living things. So we here in this category, in this abiotic agents, we have water and wind. Water and wind. These two are the, that is major pollinating agents which helps in the transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma. In this living, in the biotic agents, in the biotic pollinating agents, that is different living organisms helps. So here in this animals will be helping in the transfer of pollen grains. Apart from animals, insects will also help in pollination. Human beings will also help in pollination. So these human beings, insects, animals, all these are considered as the biotic agents of pollination, whereas this wind and water, these two are considered as the non-biotic, that is, or abiotic agents of pollination. So we'll move forward with this abiotic agents first. So in this abiotic agents we have wind and water. Okay, so if the pollen grains are transferred from anthers to stigma, that is the transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma is by the wind. If the pollination is by the wind, if wind is acting as the pollinating agent, okay, so then that type of pollination is called as anemophily. Anemophily is nothing but pollination which is taking place through wind. Wind is acting as the agency which is transferring the pollen grains from anthers to stigma. So here, if this transfer is by the wind, then such such type of pollination is called as anemophily. And if this transfer of pollen grains is by water, if water is acting as the agent which is helping in the pollination, then that type of transfer is called as hydrophily. If pollination is by wind, then we call it as anemophily, and if pollination is by water, we call it as hydrophily. So here, coming to this, first we'll move to water. We'll take water as the pollinating agent. We have seen this in the lower animals such as algae, that is bryophytes, pteridophytes. They require water as the medium for the reproduction process, for the travel of male gamete to female gamete. So they require water. Water is the only source of reproduction. There should be water or moisture. If water or moisture is not there, reproduction is not carried out, is unable to be carried out. So water is the main thing for reproduction there. So that is why their distribution is also limited. That is, their variety is also limited. So, and here these plants, there are some major plants in almost angiosperms. They pollinate either by wind or by water or by, that is, biotic agents. Here in this for example, if we are taking water as the pollinating agency, so not all the organisms, what the organisms which lives in water, they are called as aquatic organisms. Or the plants which lives in water. The plants which lives in water, they are called as aquatic plants. They are called as aquatic plants. But the interesting thing is, even these aquatic plants, not all aquatic plants reproduce or have, that is, the pollinate by water. These plants are living in the water itself, but here in some of the plants, like water lily, example is water lily. It grows in water. Water lily, that is, this lily grows in water. Then water hyacinth. These two are the common examples. They grow in water. These are the aquatic plants, but the pollinating agents is not water. The pollinating agent is not water, although they will be living inside the water. But here they come up on the surface. The flowers will be on the surface. Okay, the flowers will be on the surface, and with the help of wind, the flower, that is the male gametes, will be transferred to the female gametes. These plants, even after growing in water, they will not take, that is, pollinating agent is not water. Water is not helping in pollination. Wind is helping in pollination. These plants come to the surface of the water. So when the wind blows, along with the currents of the wind, So when the wind blows now, pollen grains will fall on the water, and when the water currents move, so slowly the water, that is the pollen grains, will reach the stigma of the flower. So here even when they are the water plants, the mode of pollination is not water. Water is not helping in pollination. Wind is helping in pollination. I said you, this is the surface of the water. The flowers will be here. The plant is there inside. The flowers will be up on the surface. So here with this, when the wind blows, that is the anthers which are here will blow, that is will move. When they fall on the water, these anthers, when they fall on the water, for example here, if it is another flower is there, with the help of the water currents, these pollen grains reach this flower. So who is helping this pollen grain reach the flower? Water is not helping. Wind, these pollens are dispersed by the winds, and because of the wind water currents, it is moving to the, that is the pollen grains are moving to the another flower. Because of the wind, the pollen grains are moving to another flower. So even after living in the water, water is not the pollinating agent. Okay, but let us come to the plants which will be which will pollinate by water. Here, pollination by water, it is again of two types, that is hydrophily is again of two types. Here the first is epihydrophily and the second is hypohydrophily. Pollination in plants is again divided into two categories. The first is epihydrophily and the second is hypohydrophily. In this epihydrophily, what happens is female flowers have long stalk. Here the important thing, the female flowers have long stalk and male flowers are released on the surface of the water. Male flowers are released on the surface of the water. For example, if this is the surface of water, okay, the female, if this is the plant, the female flowers are this long ribbon like. The female flowers have long stalk and on this female flower will be present. So it will be not here, I'll just on the surface. Female flower is present. Okay, so because of this female flower, this long stalk is there of the flower, they are coming, the female flowers are coming on the surface of the water, and here because of the long stalk, and the male flowers release here. For example, if this is the male plant, so here these male plant, on this male flower pollen grains are there. So these pollen grains will be released on the surface of water. These pollen grains will be released on the surface of water. When the water current comes now, when the water current comes, these pollen grains from this flower or from the anthers here will reach to the female flowers. So pollination is taking place on the surface of the water. Pollination is taking place on the surface of the water. So such type of pollination is called as epihydrophily. Here water is only helping. The pollen grains are released near the surface of the water. Okay. So now when it is released, the pollen grains being lighter, they will come on the surface of the water. So when this water along with the currents goes to this place, here female flowers are present. So here the pollen grains will reach the female flowers. Pollen grains will reach the female flowers, and pollination where it is taking place on the surface of the water. So that is why this process is called as epihydrophily, on the surface of the water. So water is only helping, and where is this pollination is taking place? On the surface of the water. So that is why it is epihydrophily. We see this in Vallisneria. Okay. And here in the second type, hypohydrophily, the second type is hypohydrophily. So in this now we see this in the grass like water grasses like Zostera. Zostera is the example. In this, male and female flowers are submerged. Submerged means here they are on the surface of the water. The female flower is on the surface of the water. The male flower is almost near the surface, not even on the surface, but it is near. But here in this case, in the case of hypohydrophily, both the flowers, for example, this is the surface of the water. Here is the male plant. Here is the female plant. Okay. Male plant and the female plant. So here are the female flowers, here are the male flowers. Now here these male flowers, they will have pollen grains on them. These male flowers will have pollen grains on them. So now they release the pollen grains in the water. They release the pollen grains in the water. And here by water currents, if this pollen grains reaches this flower, if this pollen grain reaches this plant, the stigma will take the pollens. Stigma will take the pollens. So both of these plants or that is male and female flowers. If this is male flower, if this is female flower, I am not saying they will be present on the different plants. They might be present on the same plant. They might be present on the same plant, bisexual plant, or they might, that is male plant and female plant might be different. What I am trying to say is, even if this is on the same plant, even if that is male flowers and female flowers are on the same plant, male flowers will release the pollen inside the water. So when this pollen, that is water current, moves, if it comes in contact with this flower, here stigma is there, so it will receive the pollen grains. It will receive the pollen grains. But the thing is, both these flowers, whether it is on the same plant or whether it is on the different plant, whether it is bisexual or whether it is unisexual, or that is these plants are submerged in the water and the pollen grains are released in the water itself. Here pollen grains are released on the surface of water. Here pollen grains will be released inside the water. Plants are submerged. Plants are submerged. So in the submerged plants, so here water is helping in the pollination. Water is helping in the transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma of the same flower or the other flower or this other plant. So water here is helping and both the plants are, that is the flowers are submerged here. So if water is acting as the agents of pollination in the submerged plants, then we call it as hypohydrophily. So in submerged plant, we see hypohydrophily. And when these pollen grains, that is when the plants or when the flowers are submerged inside the water, when the flowers are submerged inside the water, what will happen? There might be a chance that here the pollen grains will get damaged because of the water currents, because of the movement of water, and because of any other reason the pollen grains might get damaged. There is a chance that pollen grains before reaching the stigma might get damaged. So in order to prevent the pollen grains from getting damaged, so here the pollen grains are covered. The pollen grains are protected from wetting. The pollen grains are protected from getting wet or with the water, because they are in the water itself now. These pollen grains are in the water. So because of the water currents and all, they might get damaged. So these pollen grains have a cover. The pollen grains have a mucilaginous covering on them. The pollen grains have a mucilaginous sticky covering on them. So this covering prevents the that is pollen grains from getting wet. Even when they are present, the pollen grains will be kept dry. Even when these flowers are submerged inside the water. Everywhere is water. Okay, so even in the presence of the water, these pollen grains are not wetted. They are kept dry. They are kept dry. Why they are kept dry? So that it does not get damaged. So that the pollen grains does not get damaged. How they are being protected from getting wet? How they are getting protected from the damage? Here on this, before the pollen grains are released, now the pollen grains will be getting a covering, mucilaginous covering, and because of that mucilaginous covering, the pollen grains are kept, that is, are prevented from wetting. They are kept dry, and when it reaches the stigma, it will help in the, because when it reaches the stigma will receive the pollen grains, and inside the pollen grains, male gamete will be present. Inside the pollen grains, male gamete will be present. So this type of transfer of, that is, pollen grains from anthers to stigma, which is submerged, both of them are submerged inside in the water, submerged in the water. So if pollination is taking place on the submerged plants with the help of the water, then we call it as hypohydrophily. So in this case, in the plants which will be helped, that is, in the plants where pollination is either by wind or water. In the plants where pollination is either by wind or water, there what happens is they produce large number of pollen grains, because it is a risky factor. If less pollen grains are produced, it is not necessary that they reach this plant. In the water they can go anywhere, in the air they can go anywhere. This does not mean that when the pollen grains are released from the anthers, they will be directly going and sitting on the stigma. It is not like that. It is a chance factor. Pollination is a chance factor. Okay, the pollen grains which are dispersed by the winds, they might fall on the stigma, or they might not fall on the stigma. Chances of falling is very less, very rare. So that is why, in order to assure this, that pollen grains are transferred to the stigma, these plants where pollination is by wind or by water, for example this Vallisneria or the Zooxera, they produce now large number of pollen grains. They produce large number of pollen grains, much larger number of pollen grains, so that if one doesn't reach, if all of them get dispersed, at least one will be reaching, at least few will be reaching the flowers. So they produce pollen grains in innumerable amounts, very large amount. That is, pollen grains will be produced in the plants which will pollinate either by wind or either by water. Okay, so here this was about the pollination by water. Here agents of pollination, that is the agents which will be helping in the transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma, the agents which will be helping in the transfer of or the pollination. So those are of two types, biotic agents and abiotic agents. Okay, in biotic agents we have animals, insects and humans as the carriers of the pollen grains, whereas in abiotic, wind and water acts as the carriers which will be transferring the pollen grain from anthers to stigma. When we come to this water as the agency for pollination, here in this now it is of two types. Pollination by water is of two types, epihydrophily and hypohydrophily. In epihydrophily, the female plants have the female flowers have long stalk, and the male flowers will release the pollen grains on the surface, near the surface of the water. So when the pollen grains reaches the surface of the water, along with the water currents, they will be reaching the flower. They will be reaching the female flower. So pollination is taking place on the surface of water, that is epihydrophily. Here in this hypohydrophily, submerged, the plants are submerged, the flowers are submerged, and the pollens will be released in the water itself, and because of the water currents, that is the pollen grains will be reaching the stigma. Now in another class we will take up wind as the agency of pollination and all those other biotic agents. What do we call the different agents? That is, the different names are given for this different pollinating agents. So we'll see this in the next class.